Hi, Anagh. Great to have you here.
Hey, Meghna, lovely to see you.
Thank you. Thanks for being here. We have Arushi as well from our team who heads our influencers.
Hi, Anagh. Hi. Nice to meet you.
Super. I think for everyone present here, of course, on the Zoom link and live, I'll just sort of quickly, introduce you, Anagh. I think to everyone who's watching us. So Anagh currently works with Stellaris, and he's probably one of the youngest VCs, a very young VC actually, focused a lot on tech-focused investments for seed and Series A startups based out of India. He comes from the IIT background as well, so a lot of experience and knowledge from there. And prior to starting off in the VC space, he worked as a quant in the investment banking division of Goldman Sachs. I think as a person, Anagh loves to talk everything about tech, but also in terms of the creator economy, I think we can find him on Clubhouse later in the day, making conversation with some really bright minds in the industry. So really great to have you here, Anagh. I think creator economy is growing a lot, so love to hear your thoughts.
Yeah, thank you so much, Meghna. Great to be here.
Awesome. Over to you, Arushi.
Great. Hi, Anagh. I quickly, kickstart this fireside chat. I think the first question is around, creator economy, right? Because it's relatively nascent in India. So wanted to hear your thoughts as to, what are the different aspects of it and the different players that you think are there in the ecosystem today.
Sure. I totally agree, Arushi. I think it's very nascent in India. It's a widely proliferating kind of a concept globally, and it has picked up. I think COVID has been an inflection point with more people spending time on their screen and having the time to go realize what is the content they're watching, and influencers riding on the back of that. But I think probably I can start off with just a few numbers which keep running in my heads and keep me in a state of wow, when it comes to the scale that we're talking about here. So there are around 50 million people globally who identify themselves as creators and are already earning decent chunk from there. And in fact, the last I checked, more than 2 million people are already earning in six figures. That is more than $100,000 when it comes to just creating content on these platforms. And if we bring that to India, the numbers are very small and not at all in line with our population or even our GDP percentage of the world. So I think less than probably 3 lakh people in India today are able to make a career out of full-time kind of a career out of creation. And this is definitely exploding probably more than since it's so nascent, there is very little data to bank on, but at least from a lot of primary research, it seems that it's growing at least 100% year on year. Influencer marketing spend is, I think, at least $300 to $400 million in India right now. It's hard to estimate the right amount. But this again, even if you look at the market, right, this is the global market is touching more than $10 billion. So it's probably less than 3-4% of what's going on in India. So by all account, it's very counterintuitive that it's such a large market globally, growing very fast, and India is a small portion of it. So just by first principles basis, I think the opportunity of the headroom to grow from here, right, is so massive. It's going to be, for the lack of a better word, big. And that is what is keeping me up at night, and that is what is making us meet a lot of interesting new startups which are creating in this space.
No, absolutely. I think basis the numbers that you just put out there, we want to sort of understand in terms of the categories, right? So example, if you just take beauty into account, then how are probably brands in the beauty segment leveraging the creator economy or influencers to probably scale to the size of a legacy brand or maybe even bigger than them?
Sure. Interesting you brought up that point. I think been thinking about the categories for some time, and it at least from first principles, it looks like certain categories are taking off really well when it comes to influencer marketing, whereas others are not. So what could be the reasons? And interesting that you mentioned beauty. I think one of the reasons could be the type of content itself and the context in which with which people interact with that content. So typically, beauty or lifestyle is not a very concentrated kind of a category. If I'm a person, I would like, I have this innate desire in myself to talk to my social circle or people I kind of follow, but I don't worship. Like, it's not a Bollywood star I'm going to follow when it comes to my skin regime, but someone who I know and I trust, and that is going to be very personalized to me because I kind of resonate with a certain kind of a lifestyle. So there is a lot of scope for distribution here, and that is why I think like there is this quote unquote middle class of creators or influencers in this domain, which is possible in beauty and lifestyle, might not be possible for other more homogeneous kind of categories like sports, for example. Like I don't know who is the like top under 16 player, let's say from Karnataka, if I'm based in Karnataka, and that is unfortunate. But still, I will still follow probably because Virat Kohli is like asking me to wear certain kind of shoes. I'll go ahead and do that. So there is a lot of concentration in that category because the like measurement is so objective, and there is not a lot of scope for disruption there in certain categories. At least can be there, but has not happened so far. So lifestyle is such category which makes it very interesting because people are going like after products which are recommended to them and have certain sense of personalization attached to it. And the second factor, I think, which is leading to beauty like kind of breaking out, and this is again just me thinking rather than anything else right now, is whenever it comes to a product which you are applying on your body or you're ingesting in your body, so it covers lifestyle and nutrition, you want to up that trust quotient even more. And there is this narrative that the brand, like the top brands, are mixing chemicals. We don't know what their processes are. So the newer brands, if they are endorsed by people that I admire, I've been following for some time, and you'd see that influencers who are like very methodical and consistent in their posting and like projecting a certain kind of a lifestyle, they are able to do very well in these categories because then that wins the trust for these customers and they end up buying from from those recommendations. I think these are two main reasons. There could be more, I'm sure, uh, why certain categories are more interesting and why it's placing beauty as the first beachhead for growth. And sorry, I forgot, coming to your question itself. The question was, can new brands leapfrog the older brands? I think absolutely yes. But like as with everything, this is just a piece of the puzzle. Obviously, you have to get your product positioning right. Influencer marketing is one piece of it. So as long as you know what your customer is buying you for, which in this case is most likely going to be transparency, better ingredients, a healthier lifestyle, sustainable lifestyle, or whatever your positionings are, I think you need to double down on that and then leverage influencer marketing to get to that. Uh, it's just easier like for a newer brand to have that sense of intimacy, which a larger brand can never have. So use that to advantage and then become large enough to face the same problems yourself.
Yeah. Which is why I think personalization, organic, natural, and then pulling in the influencers to talk only about these three points. I think it's become pretty huge in the market today. Absolutely, that makes sense.
Yeah. So I think obviously personalization, like you said, right? But it's also getting a very crowded space, as you initially mentioned, right? Like so many more creators, and I think a lot of platforms as well, right? We see these short video apps. There's a Takatak, there's a Josh, there's a Bose. There's so much happening, right? So many platforms. So what are your views on this? Like, there's a lot of choice for influencers today, right? Creators, so many platforms, and even for brands, right? Like, you know so what are your views and on these platforms as it gets more and more crowded and more influencers?
Sure, I think so. And I'll use the word creator for now for this question because I think some creators can be influencers, some creators are not influencers as well, and this question is relevant for both of these categories. And I think creators of today, the best ones are like right brain people, very creative, want to create content. But to grow in this field and earlier, probably when this was a bit less saturated, your creativity and your authenticity could end up projecting you up. It's still a necessary, but probably not a sufficient factor anymore. And the unfortunate part is that a lot of left brain activity is also needed right now as a creator to grow, which is with respect to managing the kind of content you're posting, which platforms you're posting, as you said, the proliferation of platforms which has come up, like especially after the ban of TikTok, the golden rush that happened for short form video. So it's more challenging than ever. Like I'm sure you keep talking to influencers day in day out, and uh, they would mention that this is a huge problem of how to manage all of this, and it's becoming a daunting task. Probably not even getting the ROI for that. So I think it's important for create. Like again, I'm not experienced, so I can't comment on what creators can do. Probably something that they can avoid is uh, essentially not differentiating between, let's say, content which has replay value versus content which has more freshness value. So live streams, Q&As, product reviews, etc. They have value when they are fresh. Versus, let's say you're creating a funny video, or you're creating a certain kind of snippet from your from your past or something like that. That has a lot of replay value as well. Especially if you're an artist, then your music or a dance has a lot of replay value. So in case you find yourself more in the first category, then it's not a problem at all, right? You just create that content in a centralized fashion and start distributing it on other platforms. But in case your more of your engagement is coming from the second, then you need to be careful about where you're spending time. And the logical answer will be spend time where you're growing fastest, but then that leaves out certain good opportunities. So I think you just need to figure out how to best balance time across different platforms, and be okay to not get into FOMO. Like if you're missing out certain platforms, that's okay. Like because even we don't know what is going to be the future of some platforms. So I know a lot of people who don't like, who are absolutely extroverted and love to engage in a one-on-one fashion. They have no problems of going on video. For them, doing a live chat, let's say on just on Clubhouse, it's okay because it's there, but probably get 10x of the engagement still on Instagram Live. So it's not needed to get into FOMO and do something which is not your core strength. So figure out what your core strengths are, where your audience is, and keep doing what you do well.
No, interesting. I think when you're talking about all these platforms, one which sort of stands out is Clubhouse, right? So, like you said, there's so much FOMO and everyone wants to be there together. But what exactly is it about that platform where it's actually helping the creator economy grow even more? Of course, one is audio rooms. I'm guessing Facebook, Instagram will also have their own audio rooms, right? But how do you see that growing?
Sure. So I have, it's too early to say probably, but I have mixed views at best. And the main challenge that is coming up, and fortunately, I've watched Clubhouse a bit from the inside. I've been an active quote unquote creator there, been hosting some rooms on startups. And I had joined with the first wave of euphoria around January when it was popular among iPhone users. Then I saw it dropping very hard in March and April. And then when the COVID second wave came, it was almost dead. And then the revival happened just because we have 20x more Android users in India. And the same kind of curve is visible again. Uh, I have not checked their usage data from the last 3 weeks, but my suspect is that it's not turning out to be as exciting as it was in the first few weeks. Because if we look at the other geographies, the DAUs, like retention, everything has been going down. New installs are not really growing. So it's hard to say with surety that it is going to stick around in India, first of all. But obviously, platforms innovate all the time, and there are certain features which can come up and change the game. So definitely, people who are active on Clubhouse need not leave the platform, but also at the same time keep themselves de-risked is what I am also thinking. Because, and this is more from a creator, like myself being a creator rather than an investor point of view on Clubhouse. Like I'm taking it on a wait and watch mode right now because I'm skeptical, looking at numbers from other geographies, and I think one of the main challenges in not just audio but any kind of these platforms is that the content is live, And at any point in time, there is only so much content that you can browse through, right? So there is this problem of scarcity. On TikTok or Instagram, it looks like an infinite sea of content you can keep watching all day, and that is what probably most of us keep doing anyway. So that is a main challenge here. And the other one is, I think audio rooms are kind of in between two things. One is being very passive kind of a consumer of content that I'm interested in, which is through podcasts, and the second being very actively engaging with my favorite creator or with other peers, which happens on live stream videos. So this kind of falls in the between. It's interesting for certain moods, certain times of the day, but it's not really sparking out so far. So it's hard to say that Clubhouse is the next big thing.
Right, yeah. Still probably not as established as maybe like you would know TikTok would work. Yeah, you're right.
Maybe I think I feel it's little bit for the niche, right? Like whatever little time I've spent, I don't know if today it's for the mass, like the Bharat audience today, for in India at least.
Yeah, and that is the other challenge I've seen with India is that these platforms end up becoming disaggregated. Like the premium audience, quote unquote, tier one audience, they are not on, let's say, Moj or Roposo or ShareChat. At least I can say from my circles, people probably even talk about them in a condescending fashion that, yeah, this is not for us. This is for the vernacular audience. So this challenge always exists because being a status-driven kind of a society, you want to be with the aspirational status people. So a lot of because of the invite thing, the aspirational class found a foothold in Clubhouse, and a lot of people went ahead and saw an opportunity to talk to them. For example, myself, like in February, I was seeing like Zerodha founders, Paytm founders, they would actually drop in randomly into audio rooms. And that was the main factor which triggered a lot of people to go ahead and join that. But when it becomes massy and it becomes the Moj or TikTok content, you'll see probably some of this demographic shifting away unless there is very sharp demarcation. The same problem doesn't exist in societies which are less status driven, I feel.
Sure. Sure. So, since you mentioned, obviously you're talking about so many other apps and, out there, what are some of the interesting startups and products, according to you, that are emerging in this space, right? Which you think have really potential to grow and, in the next coming years?
Sure, absolutely. I think very excited about the startup opportunities here. And most of them are riding on one single theme, which is that creators should be able to directly monetize from their followers. So currently, the followership that you end up building on I call them broadcast kind of platforms. So either you are there for social media or you're there for more broadcast. These platforms are not like custom made to make intimate communities for creators. So what ends up happening is you broadcast your content to a lot of people, and those people end up paying you via their attention. And now that attention has a certain take rate of its own. So either it can come through paid ads or like revenue split, which happens on YouTube, or sponsor post, which happens more on Instagram. So that is always going to be leaving money on the table, I feel, because within that large broadcast followership that you have, you'll have a certain segment who absolutely lives by your name, like who is very interested in what you're doing on a day-to-day basis, like what are the books you're reading, what is the lifestyle you're following, behind the scenes kind of conversations, or getting that feeling of getting something extra from you. And that is something I think has not been built out yet in India, and that is what a lot of the new startups which are coming up are building, where followers can pay creators through their wallet, not through their attention. So that is the major paradigm shift which is going on. A lot of companies coming up in this.
But will this be on already existing platforms, or are you saying they would create a totally different platform for this?
I think new platforms are created because of some of the reasons that these platforms are not designed to be creator first from day one. These are designed to be aggregators of supply and demand for content. So there is always going to be a challenge of their incentives versus your incentives. And what really happened before 2015-16 was that creators themselves were either you had celebs or you had platforms. The concept of a creator wasn't there. And celebs, they were not famous because they were creating funny videos on Instagram. They were famous because they had acted in Oscar-winning movies. But with these platforms rising power, the creators rode with them, and now the center of gravity of for power is shifting away from the platforms and towards these creators, and that is where a lot of the next like hundreds of billions of opportunity exists, which let's see who unlocks and how it happens. Yeah.
Yeah, very interesting space. I think also, so we work with some gaming clients as well, edtech, a lot of fintech. We spoke about beauty, but beauty, of course, being a very crowded segment, also
Yeah.
creator economy, influencer usage is huge there. But when it comes to gaming, when it comes to edtech, finance, are you seeing that shift in terms of mindset of these brands as well to leverage the creator economy?
No, absolutely. I think covering them one by one, at tech, there's this concept of cohort-based courses, which is trying to disrupt formal education itself, where it's a group of 30, 40 like small cohorts, which is being taught by a, a creator who is in the been there, done that kind of category. Let's say a podcast host or a novelist. So on the passion side, more creative side, such interesting cohorts are coming up, which continues to be small in India and definitely growing fast. So not to say it's not interesting, but just that it's small. The other major chunk is the regular like formal education and primarily led by STEM in India. That continues to be more of a brand play in the country. Uh, Less power on creators so far, more power on the brands right now is what I'm feeling. So like the creators are left with a smaller chunk of like side hobbies or like the new hobbies or what is called the new economy, digital marketing, for example, or things like that. Yeah. So it's creators are targeting currently a small chunk of it. Uh, the but it's very interesting, right? The other I think interesting fact which almost happened overnight but was already long in the making after 2020 COVID, and is just growing. I don't even know how fast, but Indian teachers becoming like being sought after by global audience. So a lot of the edtech and a lot like we'll in fact a lot of the new platforms that we are seeing, including White Hat, which has been on a very interesting run. A very good chunk of Indian edtech players' revenues is coming from audience in the US, in the Middle East, Europe, and so on. And that continues to grow as like physical boundaries become less important. EdTech from India for the world, both let's say EdTech creators or EdTech teachers, both these categories, new and old. I think it's a very interesting thing to watch out for. It can be as large as the domestic opportunity. In fact, it's so large.
Sure. I think you also mentioned
Sorry,
previously.
fintech I missed. Yeah. Sorry,
Sorry,
Arushi.
go ahead.
Fintech I missed in this answer. Fintech is, I think, definitely taking off. If you look at the number of demat accounts which has been opened since last year as a proxy for what is going on. So it has grown quite a bit. More than 10 million accounts have been added just in last year. And anecdotally, you will also find that youngsters, they want to figure out their wealth, and not they are not saving in the way that their parents used to. So that has just opened up the opportunity multiple times. It's not a linear but an explosive kind of a growth, and creators are capitalizing on top of that. I'm seeing that especially finance creators, and you'll tell best because you track them well. They are taking, only the top ones are taking 2-3 months to reach 20-30,000 kind of followers if they're making reels. And this has not happened in other categories likewise. I'm seeing this in health tech and fintech. A lot of doctors and a lot of these stock advisors, they keep dancing on Instagram reels, and in a very interesting fashion they'll point out tips. So it's a new form of content, very interesting to watch. Keeps the engagement high and also builds credibility, and it's growing. I think I estimate the number of fintech and crypto stock kind of creators to be around 10,000 in India right now. Will probably be 1 lakh in the next 3 years. So let's see.
Yeah, surely. I think the fintech space is definitely scaling. I actually wanted to come back. Previously you said this, a lot of products emerging in the whole Indian content creator space, right? That's what is going to grow. So do you see in the future the content creators will be able to earn subscription revenue from their followers? Like let's say you follow someone on any of these platforms and the followers have to actually pay a price, right? To the creator. Do you think that's changing here? Like I think the West
Can
obviously it's
happen.
there, but
Arushi, can happen. Very hard to predict. At least, if you ask me the question that are you seeing signs of it happening, I think uh, as of today, subscription as a model has not really taken off in most digital forms in India. Like subscribing to content is not something which is a cultural phenomenon yet in the country. Can it happen? Like again, I don't know yet. I think what I do know is that currently it's not there. For the next 12 to 18 months probably will not be that interesting. Uh, Multiple reasons. One is that culture. Second is oversupply in commodity categories and undersupply in premium categories when it comes to creators in India, which people would want to subscribe to. And a lot of these reasons coming together has made this business model a little less interesting. What is most interesting to me right now from an direct monetization point of view is the opportunity of like live streams, live Q&As, constant engagement. People are paying through both ticketed events and tips, and that has taken off well in gaming. I think top creators like Tanmay Bhatt are earning in lakhs per video when it comes to YouTube live streams. Can happen for with other categories as well. Where you're getting access to premium live content, because live, especially with live becoming ubiquitous, right, after technology also catching up, uh, people do want to talk to creators in a direct engaged fashion. So that seems more interesting. But will that live be subscription based? I don't think so right now. Probably later. Yeah.
It would very, very, very interesting, Anag. I think there's so much happening in the creator economy in terms of brand growth, in terms of what we've seen from an influencer angle, not just a branding perspective. Even their thoughts on a brand has so much to do with their performance and increasing the ROAS as well for so many brands. So, very interesting space. I think what will be very interesting is to see the whole subscription model, probably monitoring the fact that you have X number of followers as well on Instagram or maybe different platforms as well. I think that's going to be very interesting. um I think in
Yes,
the
sorry,
end.
one more thing on subscription before we move on. One other challenge is that UPI doesn't support like recurring payments right now. So let's see what happens after that changes. That has also been a friction point because India is not a credit card economy. Very few people have that. So
Yeah,
let's say if UPI introduces something like that, which is already in the talks, then subscription can take off at different places as well. So, but yeah, early to comment on that.
sure. Any questions from the audience? We can probably take one or two questions. And I think one probably question is, are there any learnings from the international market? Like even in terms of these subscription models you're talking about, is it sort of moving down from the international markets? Or how does it work there?
No, so subscription, so pop culture is quite celebrated. Altruism is quite celebrated. I don't have logical reasons, so I'm giving philosophical reasons of why Western societies have a lot of subscription. So culturally, I think at least in retrospectively, doesn't look like an anomaly of what is going on there, and it's not going down, right? Like there are talks about every business will be a subscription business, and that is taking off in the US. What has not taken off that well is live commerce versus China, where live commerce is doing extremely well, tens of billions of dollars by the top platforms. Uh, so there are different dynamics for different markets and different timings, and different regulatory plays are also exist. Like China doesn't allow like most social media platforms, so that also has an effect. And the kind of people who become influencers, the kind of objectives people have from becoming influencers, all of that are different for different countries. So it will be hard to mirror, let's say, certain phenomenon in one country and do that in the other. But if I have to pick between these two, I think live commerce to me today sounds more interesting than subscription. But yeah, too early to comment there as well.
Oh yeah, long ways to go, I think, for us, but a lot to explore. But thank you so much for all those insights. It was a great chat that we had. Thanks for joining us today, Anagh.
Absolutely. This was super helpful and useful to me as well. Thank you so much, Meghna. Thanks, Arushi. Bye-bye.
Thank you. Thanks so much.
So we're actually we have like a quick surprise musical evening from our own creator in-house at Social Beat, Bimal. If you can probably come forth, and I think it'll be a good way to sort of just close the event and sit back and relax.
Hi, Meghna. Can you hear me?
Yes, very much.
Amazing. Hello, everyone.
Hey.
Yes. Just gonna do a quick sound check. Okay, I'm hoping you can hear both my vocals and my guitars. Yes?
Yep.
Amazing. So hi everyone. I hope you've had an amazing evening altogether. My name is Bimal. I work in Social Beat. I work as a senior specialist for videos over here, and I also sing on the side. So I'm just gonna do a few songs that are like relatively classics, and yeah, I'm just gonna start off. So. Yes, so I'm going to start off with a song called Wonderwall. It's one of those songs that I think is evergreen, and it's just been there all throughout. Like, and I remember hearing it when I was like super young, when I was probably 14 or something, and I was like, wow, what a song! It was very sad to see that the band had broken up before I could listen to any of their other songs. But yeah, it's a quite lovely song. Random anecdote, but yeah. Okay, here goes. Today's gotta be the day that gotta throw back to you. By now you should somehow realize what you gotta do. I don't believe that anybody seems the way I do about you now. Back the word is on the street, but the fire in your heart is now. I'm sure you heard it all before, but you never really had a doubt. I don't believe that anybody feels the way I do about you now. And all the roads that walk along the winding, and all the lights that lead us there are blinding. There are many things that I would like to say to you, but I don't know how. But I say, baby, you're gonna be the one that saves me. And after all, you're my wonderwall. Today's gonna be the day, but they'll never throw it back to you. By now you should have somehow realized what you gotta do. I don't believe that anybody feels the way I do about you now. And all the roads that lead you there were winding, and all the lights that lead you there are blinding. There are many things that I would like to say to you, but I don't know how. Yeah, and I said, baby, you gotta be the one that saves me. And after all, I'm out wonder. And I said, baby, you're gonna be the one that saves me. And after all, I'm out wonder. Thank you. That was Wonderwall by Oasis. Oasis was the name of the band that wrote this song. I think they're still around, but I don't think they're the same group. Yes. The next song that I'm going to do is a song. It's a song that got a little controversial a very short while ago, but it's a song nevertheless that I really love singing. So I'm just gonna sing it. It's "Imagine" by John Lennon. Yeah. Okay, here it goes. Imagine there's no heaven. It's easy if you try. No hell below us. Above us only sky. Imagine all the people living for today. Ooh. Imagine there's no countries. It isn't hard to do. Nothing to kill or die for. No religion too. Imagine all the people living life in peace. You may say I'm a dreamer. I'm not the only one. I hope someday you will join us, and the world will be as one. Imagine no possessions. I wonder if you can. No need for greed or hunger. A brotherhood of man. Imagine all the people sharing all the world. You may say I'm a dreamer. I'm not the only one. I hope someday you will join us, and the world will be as one. Thank you. That was imagined by John Lennon. There's something very innocent about this song, something very tender, and it's one of my favorite songs of all time. And now going on to another favorite song of mine, um, written by. So this is a song called "Hurt." It was written by Nine Inch Nails and made popular by the amazing Johnny Cash himself. And the story goes that Johnny Cash sang the song, and the artist Nine Inch Nails, who actually wrote the song, was like, "This song doesn't belong to me anymore. It's Johnny Cash's song." So yeah, here goes "Hurt" by Johnny Cash and Nine Inch Nails and Seven Dust. A lot of people have covered this song. I've hurt myself today to see if I still feel. I focus on the pain, the only thing that's real. The needle tears a hole, the old familiar sting. I try to kill it all away, but I remember everything. What have I become? My sweetest friend. Everyone I know goes away in the end, and you could have it all. My empire of dirt, I will shoot down. I will make you hurt. I'll wear this crown of thorns upon my liar's share, full of broken thoughts that I cannot repair. Beneath the stains of time, the feelings disappear. You are someone else, but I am still right here. What have I become? My sweetest friend. Everyone I know goes away in the end, and you could have it all. My empire of dirt, I will kiss you down. I will make but found a way. Thank you. That was Hurt by Johnny Cash, and it's a song that I really like to sing quite a bit. And to the last song of the evening, which is basically uh, again one of my all-time favorite songs, and again a classic in itself. This one is called "Can't Help Falling in Love with You," and yeah, let's see how it goes. I'm pretty sure everyone's heard this song, or most people have. Wise men say only fools rush in, but I can tell falling in love with you. Shall I stay? Would it be a sin? But I can't help falling in love with you. Like a river flows surely to the sea, darling, so it goes. Some things are meant to be. Take my hand, take my whole life too, but I can't help falling in love with you. Like a river flows surely to the sea, darling, so it goes. Some things are meant to take my hand, take my whole life too, but I can't help falling in love with you. Shall I stay? Would it be a sin? But I can't help falling in love with you. But I can't help falling in love with you. Thank you. That was Can't Help Falling in Love with You. And that brings us to a close of me singing. So, yeah.
Thanks, Vimal. Thank you for doing this.
Thank you. Thanks, Meghna. Thanks, everyone.
Awesome, Vimal. Thank you so much.
Thanks, Anil. Yeah. Everyone, have a nice evening. Bye-bye.
Yes, thank you. Thanks, everyone, for joining in through the day and for watching us as well. And we'll be back soon with another edition of our summit. Until then, thank you so much.